Welcome to the Whiskey Explorer. Thanks so much for tuning in for another episode, guys. And if this is your first time to the channel, if you could please do us a quick favor, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, leave a comment down below, let us know what you thought about this review, what you think about this bourbon, and we'll help grow the community here at the Whiskey Explorer. And tonight we've got a very classic bottle in the bourbon world. We've got the Woodford Reserve Double Oaked. Alright, so the Woodford Reserve Double Oaked, it's essentially Woodford Reserve and then it's finished in a secondary barrel. So what's cool about Woodford Reserve is they were kind of one of the first to kind of pioneer this process. I kind of put it kind of right up there with Michter's. Michter's may have been first to the bat at that one with their toasted barrel finishes like their toasted barrel rye and their toasted barrel bourbon, and they also actually do a toasted barrel version of their sour mash. But Woodford Reserve wouldn't have been too far behind that. Their process is a little bit different than other toasted barrels. So it goes through the full maturation process in the first New American charred white oak barrel. And then the secondary barrel is actually deeply toasted and then lightly charred to Woodford Reserve specifications. And the bourbon that's from the first barrel goes into that secondary barrel for a secondary sort of finishing process, which gives you that nice kind of toasted oak flavor profile to the bourbon. And this one here is bottled at the pretty standard Woodford Reserve 45.2% alcohol by volume or 90.4 proof. So a lot of the Woodford Reserve products that are kind of in their core range, those are all kind of going to be in that right around that same proof point, that 45.2%. Even their special sort of Masters collection, a lot of that is actually bottled at the 45.2% as well. So it'd be awesome to see some of that bottled a little bit higher because I think Woodford's got some amazing flavors and it'd be just great to see them bottled at that little higher percentage point. Just give a little bit more flavor to it as well. It'd be awesome to see. We don't really get the batch proof version here in Canada like in my region. So, it'd be nice to see some of those Woodford products done at a little bit of a higher proof point. But anyways, let's get to the review on this one here. So just going to take a quick look at the color in the glass here. As you guys can see, that's actually just a really, really nice kind of dark copper color to it. Sort of probably picking up some of the color from that secondary barrel finish there. The toasted and then lightly charred secondary barrel. Picking up quite a bit of color from that, I'm pretty sure. So nice dark copper color to that. Really nice, looks very inviting in the glass. And I can already smell the beautiful nose on this, so let's go in for a quick nosing. Cheers. So there's a wonderful kind of dessert quality to this bourbon. It has a deep, dark, rich, kind of saturated nose on this. I could just nose this one for days. It's a beautiful nose. It's nice and sweet. So you have a nice sweet cherry note in there. Just a ton of vanilla and sweet oak flavor coming through. Then even some confectionery sugar, so it's a dusting of that icing sugar on there. Just really nice, beautiful, kind of sweet, rich dessert bourbon style profile to the nose on this one. Really love the nose on the Woodford Double Oak. There's a reason this one's so popular in the community. It's just a really nice, very approachable, inviting nose to this one. You just want to dive right in and take a sip. It's a really, really nice nose. Let's go in for a quick sip here, guys, on the palate. Cheers. Delicious palate to this one. You get lots of sweet oak and vanilla up front. And then the mid palate is where there's a really nice burst of dark fruit. Dark kind of cherry, stewed fruit. Kind of dark, almost like a plum note as well in there. Then there's some honey in there. A little bit of chocolate. Lots of vanilla. Then the finish has this nice sweet oak flavor to it as well. That's just a really, really, really nice dram. It has a really nice dessert quality to it. I really like the sweeter bourbons, so for my flavor profile that I enjoy, this really kind of fits the bill. Nice and sweet, very approachable. I think this would also be a really good bourbon to introduce new bourbon drinkers to, just because it's so inviting. Really nice flavors. It has some classic bourbon flavors in there as well. The finish is a little bit short on this, so it falls off a little bit. Sort of a short to medium finish on this one. So you do lose the finish quite quickly on it, but that's sort of the only kind of complaint that I'd have about this one. Really nice bourbon. Let's go in for a second sip, see if I can pull a few more flavors here for you guys. Cheers. On that second sip, I got more of the toasted marshmallow note in there. So I got more of the flavor profile of I'd typically pick up in a toasted barrel finished bourbon. So kind of that nice toasted marshmallow mixed in with a nice cherry note, vanilla. It's got a little bit of a creamy mouthfeel too, so there's actually a little bit of a mouthfeel going on, which is nice to see, especially in something that's bottled at that kind of lower ABV, like 45.2%. It's not too strong on the ABV, but you still do get a little bit of a nice mouth coating on that. Creamy, kind of a little bit of a creamy mouthfeel to that. So it's pretty good on the mouthfeel. Then you get nice vanilla, toasted oak, sweet oak flavors in there. Just a hint of spice in the background there on the finish. And it is a relatively short finish, but highly recommend this one. In our market, it's about $70 Canadian. So it's still an affordable bottle, and I think it is definitely a step up from the regular Woodford Reserve. I did review that on the channel, so I'll put a link up here if you'd like to check out the review for that. I also really enjoyed the regular Woodford Reserve, and I actually reviewed that with my wife Alice, the first mate, so if you'd like to check that out, I'll put that link up. And yeah, so I highly recommend checking out the Woodford Double Oaked if you haven't had a chance to do so already. And thanks so much for tuning in for another review, guys. That'll about do it for this one. Till the next time, may your sails be full and your drowns be fuller. Cheers.